The alien camp was quiet, but not with peace. It was the silence of fear. Soldiers of different species stood in a wide circle, their eyes fixed on the cage in the middle of the ground. The cage was made of thick metal, reinforced with glowing energy chains. Inside, a massive creature moved slowly, its deep growl shaking the floor. They called it a beast, a monster from the wild worlds beyond the known galaxy. Its body was covered in dark scales, sharp spines running along its back. Its yellow eyes glowed like fire in the shadows, and every breath sounded like thunder. Some soldiers whispered it had killed whole hunting parties before being captured. Others said it was a demon, not an animal. The alien commander stepped forward, his voice strong but full of tension. This creature is too dangerous. It cannot be controlled. It must be sacrificed before it destroys us all. His words were met with nods, whispers, and nervous glances. Everyone wanted the same thing: kill the beast and end the fear. But not everyone agreed. Among the gathered soldiers stood a human cadet. She was younger than most, small compared to the towering aliens around her. But her eyes did not look away from the cage. Where the others saw a monster, she saw something else, something no one else dared to notice. The beast growled again, pressing against the cage bars. Soldiers jumped back, some even reaching for their weapons. The chains rattled, sparking light across the camp. Every sound, every movement, made their fear worse. "Stand back," shouted one alien officer. "If the chains break, nothing will save you." Yet the human cadet did not move. She stepped forward, slowly, her boots echoing on the hard ground. The crowd gasped. "Is she mad?" one soldier whispered. "She'll be torn apart," another hissed. "No one goes near that thing and lives," said a third. But she kept walking. The beast's eyes locked on her. Its growl lowered, deeper, heavier, filling the silence. The human stopped just a few steps away from the cage. She could feel its hot breath through the bars. The air itself seemed to tremble. Everyone waited for the scream that would follow. But nothing happened. The human's hand moved slowly to her pocket. The soldiers thought she was reaching for a weapon. But when her hand came back out, it held something small and simple, just a piece of food from her rations. The aliens blinked in disbelief. She was offering food to the beast? The commander shouted angrily. "Step back, human. You risk all of us." But she ignored him. Her eyes stayed on the creature. Her arms stretched out carefully, the food resting in her open palm. The crowd held their breath. The beast roared suddenly, slamming against the bars. The ground shook, and sparks of energy lit the camp. Soldiers stumbled back, shouting in panic. Some raised their rifles, ready to fire. But the human did not flinch. The beast stopped. Its huge nostrils flared, breathing heavily. The chains rattled once more, then went still. Slowly, the creature lowered its head toward the human's hand. Its teeth, sharp and deadly, glinted in the dim light. With one movement, it could tear her arm away. But instead, it sniffed. The silence grew heavier. Every soldier leaned forward, unable to look away. The beast sniffed again, then slowly, carefully, it took the food. Its jaws closed, but not on her hand. It ate. The human did not move until the food was gone. Then, as if nothing had happened, she pulled her hand back. The soldiers gasped in shock. Whispers filled the air. "Impossible! No one has ever gotten close before. It should have killed her." The commander's face twisted with anger and confusion. He wanted to shout, but even he could not deny what had just happened. The beast had accepted the human. The human took one more step forward, her voice calm and soft, though the crowd could barely hear her words. "You're not a monster. You're just hungry." The beast let out a low sound, not a growl this time, but something different. Something softer. The soldiers froze. For the first time, the alien beast did not look like a terror. For the first time, it looked almost calm. The human turned her head slightly, her eyes meeting the stunned crowd. She didn't speak again, but her actions spoke louder than any words. Fear had ruled the camp. But now, a new question burned in every mind. Had a human just done the impossible? And if so, what would happen next? The camp was in chaos after what they had witnessed. Soldiers muttered in disbelief, voices rising like buzzing insects. The alien commander barked orders to restore silence, but even he could not erase the image of what had just happened, a human feeding the beast and walking away alive. The council gathered quickly. They stood in a half-circle around the cage, their robes glowing with authority, faces sharp with anger. The commander pointed at the human cadet. "She risked our lives," he shouted. "This creature cannot be trusted. It has destroyed ships, killed warriors, and broken cages stronger than this one. It is not a companion. It is a weapon that will turn against us." The council members nodded, their voices overlapping. "It must be sacrificed. Kill it now before it grows stronger. The safety of the fleet comes first." The soldiers agreed. Fear had already taken root. Their weapons hummed, energy cells ready to fire. The beast, hearing the sounds, lifted its head and growled, its eyes glowing brighter. The cage shook again. The crowd drew back in fear. But one voice broke through the storm. "No!" Every eye turned toward the human. She stood firm, her arms crossed, her face calm, as if she had just said the simplest word in the galaxy. Yet that one word carried more weight than all their shouts combined. The commander glared at her. "You dare defy the orders of the council?" She did not look at him. Instead, she looked at the beast. Its massive body shifted, its claws scraping the floor, but its growl lowered when her eyes met its. "This is not a monster," she said softly, but the entire camp went silent to hear her. "You are all blind with fear. Look closer. Its eyes are not filled with rage. They are filled with hunger and fear." The aliens laughed bitterly. One soldier spat on the ground. "Fear? That beast fears nothing. It kills because it enjoys the hunt." The human shook her head. "It kills because you chase it, trap it, and corner it. Would you not do the same? Every creature fights when it is caged." Her words cut like a blade. Many soldiers shifted uncomfortably, because deep inside, they knew it was true. But no one dared admit it. The commander's face darkened. "You speak like a child. This thing does not belong in our galaxy. Sacrifice is the only answer." The human stepped forward, her voice stronger now. "Then sacrifice me first. Because if you kill it, you will have to go through me." Gasps filled the air. Even the beast raised its head sharply, its golden eyes watching her closely. The council erupted in protest. "Madness! Humans are reckless. She has lost her mind." But the human did not flinch. Her hands, still dirty from feeding the beast, rested calmly at her side. Her gaze did not waver. "Fear makes you weak," she continued. "You see danger and answer with destruction. But humans, we see danger and answer with courage. You think this beast is an enemy, but I see something else. I see a chance to turn fear into strength." Her words echoed across the camp. For a moment, no one spoke. The commander finally sneered. "Courage? Foolishness. You trust an animal that would kill you in a heartbeat." The human smiled faintly. "And yet, it hasn't." Silence. Her point was undeniable. She had stood closer to the beast than anyone ever dared, and she still lived. The fact itself was proof. But the council would not yield. One elder alien raised his staff and declared, "The vote is clear. The beast must be executed at dawn. Nothing will change this decision." The crowd murmured in agreement. The beast growled as if sensing its fate. The human clenched her fists, her heart burning. Then, something happened that no one expected. As the council turned to leave, the beast slammed its claws against the cage, but not in rage. It pushed something forward, scraping across the floor. Everyone froze. It was the piece of chain that had fallen earlier when the human first approached. The beast slid it toward her feet, like an offering. The human bent down, picked it up, and looked into its eyes. The creature made a low sound, soft, almost like a purr, though rough and thunderous. The council stared in shock. The alien commander's hands trembled. Soldiers whispered, some in fear, others in awe. The human turned back to them. Her voice was calm, steady, but carried fire in every word. "You can kill it at dawn, but if you do, you will prove that fear owns you. Or, You can trust me. Trust the bond I've made. And maybe, just maybe, this beast will fight for us instead of against us." The silence that followed was heavier than any roar. The choice now hung in the air like a blade. Would they trust the human, or sacrifice the beast? The answer, everyone knew, would change everything. The night before the execution was tense. The camp was restless, whispers moving from tent to tent like cold wind. Soldiers spoke of the human's madness, of her defiance against the council. Some admired her courage in secret, but most only waited for dawn, when the beast's death would finally erase their fear. But the human did not sleep. She sat near the cage, alone, her shadow lit by the faint glow of the energy chains. The beast lay inside, its massive body curled like a mountain, its eyes half closed but still glowing in the dark. For hours, nothing moved. Only the sound of breathing, hers soft, the beast's heavy like rolling thunder. Then, slowly, the creature stirred. Its great head rose, golden eyes fixing on her once more. It did not roar. It did not rattle its chains. It simply looked. She met its gaze, steady and calm. "They want to kill you tomorrow," she whispered. "But I don't think you are the monster they believe. You're just waiting for someone to see you." The beast tilted its head, as though listening. She reached into her pocket again, pulling out another piece of ration bread. With quiet steps, she moved closer to the bars. Soldiers watching from the shadows muttered warnings, but she ignored them. The air was thick with tension. One wrong move and the beast could tear her apart. But her steps were slow, patient, deliberate. When she reached the cage, she crouched, her hand slipping through the gap in the bars. The bread lay in her palm. The beast sniffed. The sound was deep and rough, like wind scraping stone. Its nostrils flared, and then, without warning, its jaws snapped forward. The soldiers gasped, weapons half raised. But the beast did not bite her. Instead, it took the bread gently, its razor-sharp teeth brushing against her skin without breaking it. It chewed slowly, its eyes never leaving hers. The camp fell silent. The human did not pull away. Instead, she lifted her other hand, empty this time, and held it steady before the beast's snout. Her fingers trembled, but her eyes remained locked on the creature. The beast hesitated. Its growl rumbled low, uncertain. Its claws dug into the ground, scratching furrows into the metal floor. For a long, heavy moment, it simply stared at her hand. Then, it leaned forward. Its great head lowered, and its nose touched her palm. The soldiers froze. The commander himself clenched his fists, ready to call the order to fire. But the beast did not attack. It sniffed once, twice, and then pressed closer, letting her hand rest on its scaled skin. A hush fell over the camp. The human had touched it. Her palm brushed the hard surface of its scales, feeling the warmth beneath. She could feel the slow beat of its massive heart, steady and powerful. The beast let out a sound, not a roar but a deep vibration, like a purr from a creature too large to ever be gentle. The human smiled faintly. "See? You're not a curse. You're alive. And you deserve more than a cage." The beast shifted its massive body, lowering itself further until it lay down fully before her, as if bowing. Gasps echoed through the night. Soldiers whispered, "Impossible. No beast has ever shown submission. It trusts her?" The commander's face twisted, torn between anger and disbelief. His voice cracked as he shouted, "This changes nothing. At dawn, it dies." But the soldiers no longer looked at him. Their eyes were on the human and the beast, the impossible bond forming before them. The human slowly withdrew her hand, standing tall. She turned toward the watching crowd, her voice calm but carrying strength. "You saw it. It chose peace when it could have chosen blood. You call it a monster, but tell me, what kind of monster bows its head to trust?" Her words hung in the air, heavier than the commander's orders. The beast remained still, its massive eyes following her, its body relaxed for the first time since its capture. The chains that once rattled with rage now rested quietly, as if they no longer mattered. That night, something shifted. Not in the cage, but in the hearts of those who witnessed it. For the first time, the soldiers began to question what they had always believed. Was the human simply reckless? Or had she shown them a truth they were too afraid to see? The answer was not clear yet. But one thing was certain. The first touch had changed everything. And dawn would no longer be the same. The morning sun rose over the alien camp, its light cutting through the mist like blades of fire. Soldiers gathered again, their eyes fixed on the cage. But the atmosphere had changed. Where once there had only been fear, now there was uncertainty, an uneasiness that came not from the beast, but from what they had seen the night before. The story had already spread. The beast had bowed to a human. Whispers traveled faster than light across the ranks. Some said it was a trick. Others swore they had seen genuine trust in the creature's eyes. For soldiers who had always believed the beast was untamable, the memory shook the foundations of everything they thought they knew. The council returned, their robes flowing, their faces stern and cold. The elder alien at the center raised his staff, the symbol of judgment. His voice boomed. The decision has been made. At high sun, the beast will be executed. It cannot be allowed to live. The soldiers shifted uneasily. Many lowered their heads, unwilling to speak against authority, but unwilling to ignore what they had seen. The human cadet stood near the cage once again. Her hands rested at her sides, her back straight, her eyes burning with quiet determination. She said nothing at first. She let the silence grow heavy, let the tension rise until every eye turned toward her. Finally, she spoke. "Do you not see what is happening here?" For the first time, this creature trusted someone. For the first time, it bowed instead of attacked. "And your answer is still death." Her voice cut across the gathering like a blade. The elder scowled. "Do not mistake tricks of hunger for loyalty. Beasts do not change their nature. It may obey for a moment, but one day it will turn, and blood will flow again. That is all it knows." The human shook her head. "You're wrong. You see only its teeth. I see its heart." The soldiers murmured. Some nodded quietly. Others sneered. The commander clenched his fists, his pride wounded by her defiance. One soldier suddenly stepped forward. He was tall, armored in dark plates, his voice trembling as he spoke. "I was there. I saw it bow. I cannot explain it, but it was real." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Another soldier raised her voice, it touched her hand without harm. No one else could even stand close without it attacking. "How can we ignore that?" The council snapped, their voices overlapping. "Silence! You dare question the order? This is rebellion." The commander roared above them all. "Enough! The human has poisoned your minds. She speaks with madness and trickery. Do not let her foolishness destroy us." But the beast itself seemed to join the argument. It rose slowly inside the cage, its chains glowing as they tightened against its movement. Its massive eyes swept over the crowd, then settled on the human. With a low rumble, it pressed its head against the bars, waiting for her touch again. The camp froze. The human stepped closer, ignoring the shouts of warning. She raised her hand and rested it against the beast's nose once more. The growl in its throat softened instantly, replaced by that strange, thunderous vibration, its attempt at a purr. The soldiers whispered louder now. Fear was still there, yes, but something else was spreading, awe. The human turned her head toward the council. Her voice was calm but firm. "You say it cannot change. But look. Look with your own eyes. It chooses peace, again and again, even though you offer it nothing but chains. Ask yourselves, who is truly the beast here? The one behind the bars, or the ones who fear what they do not understand?" Her words cut deeper than any weapon. The silence that followed was dangerous, alive, like the air before a storm. Some soldiers looked ashamed. Others clenched their weapons tighter, confused and afraid of the truth settling in their hearts. The elder struck his staff against the ground. Sparks flared. His voice shook with anger. "You dare insult this council? Enough of this madness. Prepare the execution. At high sun, its life ends. And if you stand in our way, human, your life ends with it." The camp erupted in chaos, shouts, arguments, the sound of weapons powering up. Soldiers looked at one another, divided. Some followed the order, moving to their posts. Others hesitated, torn between obedience and the memory of what they had seen. The beast growled again, but this time not in fear or hunger. Its golden eyes glowed brighter, and for a heartbeat, it seemed the chains would not hold. The human did not move. She stood in front of the cage, her body a shield between the council's decision and the creature's life. Her voice was quiet, but every soldier heard it. "Then you will have to kill me first." The word struck harder than any roar. And with that, the camp was no longer united. The tension had become a storm, and it was ready to break. The council's anger had reached its peak. Their voices clashed like thunder in the command hall, echoing across the camp. The human's defiance could not be ignored any longer. "If she believes the beast is tame," the commander said coldly, "then let her prove it. No more whispers, no more talk. We test this bond in front of all. And when it fails, the galaxy will see that human foolishness is nothing but death." The elders nodded in grim approval. Soldiers exchanged uneasy glances. Many thought the test was nothing more than a staged execution. The beast was wild, unstoppable, and the chains would not hold forever. The arena was prepared at dawn. It was a vast metal circle, scarred from past battles and trials. Around it, soldiers gathered in thick ranks, their armor gleaming, their eyes sharp with anticipation. The council sat above, their seats raised high like judges at an ancient court. At the center, the cage was lowered. The beast roared as the chains unlocked one by one. Sparks hissed, metal clanged, and with a final burst of light, the creature was free. The ground shook as it stepped into the open arena. Its claws carved deep lines into the floor. Its massive wings flexed once, casting shadows across the walls. Every soldier gripped their weapon tighter. Even at a distance, the beast radiated power. The commander's voice boomed. "Human, step forward." The crowd parted as she walked, small and fragile compared to the towering creature waiting inside. Her steps were steady, but every soldier watching felt the tension. One wrong move, and she would be torn apart. Whispers followed her. "She will not survive. This is madness. Watch closely. She'll be dead before she takes 10 steps." But the human kept walking until she stood in the center of the arena. The gates closed behind her with a heavy clang. Now, it was only her and the beast. The creature's eyes glowed, fixed on her. Its muscles tensed, claws digging deeper into the floor. A low growl vibrated through the air, shaking the soldiers' chests. The human slowly raised her hands, palms open, showing she carried no weapon. "I am here," she said softly. "Not as your captor. Not as your enemy. But as the one who sees you." The beast tilted its head, confused. It took a slow step forward, its massive frame blocking the sun above. The ground trembled under its weight. Soldiers raised their weapons instinctively, but the commander barked, "Hold fire. Let the human meet her death." The beast let out a roar, deafening and violent, shaking dust from the walls. The crowd gasped. The human did not flinch. She stood still, her eyes locked on the creature, her breathing steady. Then she did something that made the entire arena freeze. She walked toward it. The gasps became shouts. "She's lost her mind. She'll be crushed." Step by step, she closed the distance, until the beast's shadow completely swallowed her. Its head lowered, jaws opening, rows of teeth flashing. The commander leaned forward, waiting for blood. But then, silence. The beast lowered its head further, and pressed its massive forehead against her chest. The arena went dead quiet. Soldiers could not believe what they were seeing. The human reached up, her small hand resting against its scales. "You are not a monster," she whispered. "You are more than they let you be." The beast let out a deep, rolling sound, its strange version of a purr. It curled its wings, lowering its body to the ground, as though bowing to her once more. The soldiers erupted in chaos. Some shouted in disbelief, some cheered, some fell silent with awe. The commander stood frozen, his mouth open, rage burning in his eyes. The council banged their staffs, demanding order, but even they could not deny what had just happened. The beast had chosen the human. To test further, one elder ordered, "Bring in the drones." Metallic doors opened, releasing combat drones into the arena. They circled the beast, their weapons glowing, targeting its weak points. Soldiers whispered in fear. If the beast attacked now, the human would be crushed between claws and fire. The drones fired. Blazing bolts of energy shot forward. The beast roared, its body snapping into motion. But instead of striking the human, it spread its massive wings around her, shielding her completely. Bolts of plasma struck its scales, leaving burns, but it did not move away. It protected her with every ounce of its strength. When the smoke cleared, the human was untouched. The beast lifted its head, roaring in fury, not at her, but at those who dared threaten her. The crowd stood in shock. Even the commander stumbled back. The human stepped forward from behind the beast's wings. Her voice carried across the arena, unshaken. You wanted proof. Here it is. This creature protects me. It fights for me. It trusts me. So tell me, what kind of leader kills an ally that offers its loyalty? Her words struck like lightning. Soldiers who had doubted now looked at her with new respect. The council's authority wavered. The commander's pride burned. The beast lowered its head again beside her, as though awaiting her command. And for the first time, the galaxy witnessed what no one thought possible, a bond between a human and the most feared creature alive. The camp had not recovered from the trial in the arena. Soldiers whispered in hushed voices, afraid the council might hear. But no matter how much the elders shouted about order, discipline, and fear, the image was burned into every mind. The beast lowering its head to a human, shielding her from fire, choosing her above all else. Yet the council did not surrender. They spoke in secret chambers, voices sharp and full of venom. It is a trick, one elder hissed. A tool waiting to betray us. Another snarled, we must end it before it becomes a symbol. The commander slammed his fist against the table. Then let us prove it cannot be controlled. Push it beyond limits. When it breaks, the human will fall with it. But fate had its own test prepared. That night, alarms shrieked across the camp. Sirens wailed, red lights flashing against the sky. Soldiers scrambled to walls and watchtowers as shadows moved on the horizon, an enemy raiding force, long feared but never so bold. Ships dark as ash broke through the clouds, engines screaming, weapons glowing like fire. The camp trembled. Enemy warriors poured out, armored beasts of war with blades in their hands and fury in their eyes. Plasma bolts lit the air, towers crumbled, and soldiers screamed. Chaos had come. The council panicked, ordering retreat, shouting over one another. The commander barked commands, but his voice was drowned in the storm of war. Soldiers fell back, their weapons struggling against the tide. The enemy pushed closer, breaking through defense lines. In the center of the camp, the beast remained chained once more. Its golden eyes burned as it thrashed, sensing danger, smelling blood. Sparks flew as it strained against the bindings, fury rolling through its body like a storm. The human was there. She rushed forward, her voice rising above the chaos. Release it. It will fight with us. The commander spun toward her, rage twisting his face. Are you insane? If we release it, it will kill us all. But before another word could be spoken, the beast roared, a sound so powerful it shattered glass and silenced the battlefield for one brief heartbeat. Every soldier, friend and foe, froze at the sound. The human placed her hand against the cage, her voice steady despite the fire raining around her. You are not a monster. You are my guardian. Now, show them. The chains shattered. With one thunderous strike, the beast burst free, wings snapping open, claws tearing into the ground. Its roar shook the very air, and then, it charged. But it did not strike the humans or their allies. It leapt straight into the heart of the invading force. Claws slashed, wings smashed through lines of enemies. Plasma bolts bounced off its scales. Enemy war beasts screamed as the guardian ripped through them with unstoppable fury. Yet through it all, its golden eyes never strayed far from the human. The soldiers of the camp stood frozen, or flooding their hearts. What they had feared as a curse now stood as their shield. The commander stumbled back, watching in disbelief. Impossible, he whispered. It protects her, it protects us. The beast tore through the last enemy siege engine, its body covered in burns and wounds, but it stood unbroken. With a final roar, it spread its wings wide, casting a shadow over the camp, a warning to all who dared attack again. The battlefield fell silent. The human stepped forward, her voice carrying across the ruins. You called it a monster. But monsters destroy without reason. This creature fought for me, for us, when it had no reason to. Tell me, who is the real monster? The one chained in fear, or those who refuse to see the truth? Soldiers lowered their weapons. Many dropped to one knee, not before the council, but before the bond they had just witnessed. The beast lowered its head again, bowing only to the human, its chosen. For the first time, the word guardian spread through the ranks. Whispers turned into chants. The soldiers began to cheer, not for the council, not for the commander, but for the human and her beast. The elders sat silent, their authority cracking. The commander's face was pale, his fury drowned by the roar of loyalty rising from the soldiers. The beast stood beside the human, its scales scarred, its body blooded, but its presence unshakable. No longer a prisoner. No longer a sacrifice. It had become a protector. It had become a legend. The battlefield still smoked with fire and ash. The camp was broken but not destroyed. Alien ships smoldered on the horizon, enemy warriors lay scattered, and silence finally returned to the land. But in the center of it all, standing tall and scarred, was the beast, its chest rising and falling with heavy breaths, its eyes glowing gold in the fading light. And beside it stood the human. The soldiers gathered slowly, limping, wounded, but alive. Many looked at the pair with awe. Fear was gone now. In its place was something new, respect, even reverence. The beast had not only spared them, it had saved them. The commander staggered forward, his once proud armor dented and scorched. His voice shook with fury and disbelief. This cannot be allowed. It's a trick of instinct. Today it fought with you, but tomorrow it will tear us apart. It is still a monster. The human turned, her face calm but unyielding. She gestured to the scarred ground, to the broken weapons, to the soldiers who still breathed because of the beast. Look around you. If it were a monster, none of us would be standing. You call it dangerous, yet when danger came, it was the only one that stood between us and death. Her words rippled through the crowd. Soldiers murmured in agreement. Some shouted louder. She's right. It saved us. It fought harder than any of us. The council elders tried to silence them with their staffs, but the chants grew stronger. For the first time in memory, the soldiers did not bow to the council. They bowed to truth. The beast lowered its head once again, pressing its nose gently to the human's shoulder. The gesture was clear, it had chosen. It did not see her as prey, but as kin. The commander's face twisted in rage. He raised his weapon, aiming it directly at the creature's heart. Then I'll end this myself. Gasps rose from the soldiers. But before he could fire, the beast growled, not with fury, but with warning. Its wings flared, its golden eyes blazing. And then, something no one expected happened. The soldiers stepped between the commander and the beast. One by one, they formed a wall, their weapons pointed not at the creature, but at their own leader. You will not harm it, one soldier said firmly. Another added, it is our protector now. And a third shouted, it has earned its place more than you. The commander froze, realizing what had happened. His authority was gone. The human stepped forward, her voice steady. You led with fear. But fear cannot unite. Only trust can. This creature is no longer a prisoner. It is no longer a sacrifice. It is our guardian. And if you cannot see that, then you are unfit to lead. The council tried to shout her down, but their words were drowned by the roar of the soldiers. The chant rose like thunder. Guardian! 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 The beast raised its head high, releasing a roar that shook the heavens. But this roar was different, no longer a sound of rage or defiance, but of triumph. A declaration to the galaxy, it had found its place. The human reached up, resting her hand gently on its scarred scales. She whispered words only it could hear. They will remember you. Not as a monster, but as the day fear lost to trust. And so it was. The legend spread beyond the camp, beyond the fleet, beyond the stars. Stories were carried to distant worlds of the day a human fed the most feared beast and turned it into a protector. To the day soldiers defied fear and embraced hope. To the day kindness proved stronger than claws, teeth, or chains. In alien tongues, they called it many names: the guardian, the golden fang, the shield of the human. But in every story, one truth was clear. Humans did not conquer through power alone. They conquered through trust, through compassion, through the courage to see life where others saw only death. And the beast, once a symbol of terror, now stood forever as a symbol of loyalty. Wherever it walked, aliens whispered, "Beware the human bond. It can tame even the wildest of monsters." The council never regained its full power. The commander faded into silence, his voice drowned forever by the roar of the soldiers who had seen the truth. But the human and her guardian walked together, side by side, into a future no one could have predicted.